For more on the big earnings movers, we want to bring in Karen Firestone. She is the chairman, the CEO, and the co-founder of Aureus Asset Management. She's also a CNBC contributor. Karen, what do you think? We are on the busiest day of earnings season, but we have seen a lot of numbers to this point. Any of these recent ones jump out at you? Caterpillar, what do you think? Eli Lilly?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, guys. I think today is interesting because if you add up all these earnings that are going to be reported and sales, they're going to be lower this year than last year, particularly for the drug companies. Even though Merck reported better numbers than expected, that's down from last year, about 30%. Bristol Myers is going to be down. Lilly is going to be down. Caterpillar, okay numbers, but these are really about what we can look to the future for, what they're seeing in bookings at Caterpillar, same at Honeywell, what they're doing with Keytruda at Merck, Bristol, the pipeline, new CEO, and Lilly. It's all about the GLP-1, the diabetes drugs that are being used for weight loss. But those numbers are going to be down, too.
I mean, I think you're right, though. Like, even if you're putting up really strong numbers, like Caterpillar just did, the questions are about what happens to the economy from here. What do we see? There are concerns that commercial construction, at least, is going to see a downturn when it comes to 2024. So it's hard. You're facing an investor base that's hard to impress at this point because everybody's looking to what comes next.
Yeah, everyone's cynical. And in the case of Caterpillar, we're talking about China orders also. Is China coming back? I mean, that was a big engine for their growth. And it hasn't been the last few years. Well, nothing has other than domestic construction, the housing business. But the commercial construction is weak in a lot of places. And people are skeptical of what's going to happen with higher interest rates. It's weighing on them. The airlines are reporting. I mean, you're talking about companies that are marginal in terms of profitability with lots of debt. And the debt weighs on American and the systems problems in Southwest. We'll see what.
Any airline you like?
Not right now. No, I wouldn't buy an airline right now. I know people are enthusiastic about them, and there's a lot of travel, and it's very busy at airports. But it's such a tough business to be in, and the profitability is minimal. And the cost of these airplanes, you can't even get many of the MAX jets now.
Is there a travel play that you like at all?
Booking. Yeah. Yeah, we like Booking, and that's been a very good stock. I mean, the question is, at what point does it become a little less attractive? We still think it's attractive now, but people are traveling a lot, and they use systems that are easy for them to make the plans, and it's a very easy product to use, and the revenue generation is good without being very, very capital intensive for the future. They invested a lot already, and they're reaping the benefit.
What do you think of the big tech earnings that we've been hearing this week? Meta out last night, and stock's up by about 10% this morning. Yeah,
well, we own Meta and, have been in this whole ride up, which has been great.
Were you in the ride down?
Yeah. we were in it on the ride down, and then we had sold some a long time ago. Then it came down, and we bought more. I mean, we actually did buy more. It was all about cost cutting originally. That's what people expected, and now at least you have revenues positive. 3% is not up 15%, but it's in the right direction. Daily average users has been trending up for the last 4 quarters. You had some better news on Reels. He talked less about the metaverse. Everyone talks about AI. Unclear what that really means in terms of, profitability anytime in the next 5 years. But I think that he's speaking a language that people like and has gotten religion about how to rationalize some of these costs.
If you're looking at the bright side of things, not just the efficiency picture, also, though, I think for the first time they have 3 billion people that they count as users, average daily users on all of their products.
Are there that many people?
Yeah, it's crazy to kind of consider how much of the world population they're hitting. On the downside, though, if you looked at the ads, they were cheaper ads. They sold a lot more ads. And profitability came down on that.
Yeah, well, that's something that we've become very aware of. Google is another example where the advertising business was always cyclical. It was cyclical in the TV business for years. I covered media a long time ago, and then people forgot that it was still cyclical. And we've had a recession in advertising, all advertising, including digital advertising. And they're starting perhaps to come out of it. The fourth quarter was probably the low point. We'll hear more about that when Comcast reports today.
But meaning the businesses have matured to the point where they're going to be cyclical, just like online advertising was, too.
Yeah, exactly true. It's not just grow, grow, grow. grow. It's now you deal with an economy because you are the economy. When you have companies that are, Google, I always do this, Google and Microsoft are so big. I look at the Microsoft sales numbers. They're bigger than the entire U.S. airline industry.
Yeah.
You can put a lot of industries inside every one of these big companies. And so they're the economy to some extent. The idea that they wouldn't be cyclical is just, wishful thinking.